Price is obviously going down a lot. I don't really have a new point of view on it. I'm mainly pissed off that SBF is trying to raise my taxes in California.
Explain that.
Sam Bankman-Fried, he runs FTX, and his company, he lives in the Bahamas. Okay. And there are probably reasons for that related to liability or taxes or something like that.
Can you tell us what FTX does?
They're like a Coinbase competitor, but they obviously think it's beneficial to be offshore and not under U.S. jurisdiction.
And they're very profitable, right?
Yeah, supposedly they're super profitable. I mean, he's worth like $10 or $15 billion. This is my understanding. So he's been very successful at this. I don't know why they're in the Bahamas. I think either they're in there for securities regulation reasons or for tax reasons, but it's one of those two. In any event, he doesn't live in California, and yet he is sponsoring a ballot initiative here that would add a 0.75% tax on incomes over $5 million to finance a pandemic prevention institute of his design. He's doing this with Dustin Moskovitz, another billionaire, doesn't know what to do with his money. You may remember that Dustin was the guy funding Chase Boudin. In any event, this pandemic prevention institute would be governed by an unaccountable board as opposed to something like the University of California. This is like them using the ballot initiative system to fund their pet philanthropic projects. I mean, there's really no need for this. I mean, first of all, sounds
like something that should be done federally.
Yeah, exactly. First of all, it's looking in the rearview mirror in terms of like a budgetary priority. But even if you believe this was a priority, I don't know why it'd be the responsibility of California taxpayers exclusively. And even if it was, you'd want to do it under, say, the UC system, some sort of accountable board, as opposed to having it report to, Sam and Dustin. So it makes no sense. And this is really going to hurt the California tax base, because if you start raising taxes on, California millionaires, more of them are going to leave the state, and then that tax revenue leaves the state. And so it actually hurts the general budget. And that's why, California Teachers Association, for example, opposes this, is because they know that this is going to have a negative impact on core services. But what's offensive to me is, so first of all, this is just a stupid idea in like every possible way. But what is a guy who lives in the Bahamas doing funding ballot initiatives in California to raise our taxes, thereby worsening the California fiscal situation, to fund his pet philanthropic projects? If you're worth $10 billion, just fund it on your own, Do it through your family foundation. I don't know why you need to raise the taxes on all of us.
Yeah, that's very bizarre.
I think.
Why is he giving?
Well, the simple answer is because I think it helps curry favor with politicians that he needs for other things. That's why you would do it. That's why I would do it.
This is currying negative favor because, first of all, every millionaire in California should be up in arms over this. But even, I'd say,
I don't think we know his game plan.
Yeah, but I'd say even liberal politicians and interest groups in California, like the Teachers Association, don't want this because the money's not going to a cause they support, and it will almost certainly drive down the state's tax base, right? Because people on the margins are going to leave. We already have the highest taxes in the nation. We're at 13.3% for the top end.
We have $100 billion surplus for a reason. All these IPOs, all of these venture capitalists, CEOs, and rank and file tech workers are just paying massive amounts of tax here, and they're leaving.
Right, but that's highly levered to capital gains, right? And so last year we had a boom market. We now know in hindsight that it was inflated. That was all driven by this liquidity bubble. So do you think that's going to be the case this year? I think we're due for a huge budget shortfall next year because there's going to be no capital gains
this year. They better hold on to that $100 billion for sure.
The California tax base is highly leveraged to this boom bust cycle, and driving the top earners out of the state is only going to worsen that impact. So, but again, I question, why is a guy in the Bahamas? It'd be one thing if it was just Dustin doing it, I guess, but I don't understand why Sam's taking the lead when he's not even a California taxpayer.
Because I think he's a very sophisticated player in not just crypto, but frankly, regulated and unregulated finance. And look, I think he spends a lot of money in DC as well. And I think that he has a very thoughtful game plan. And then, when you look at who his parents are really, really smart, thoughtful people as well, 2 law professors at Stanford. And so I suspect, not knowing and having spoken to him, that I think that there's a really specific strategy that these guys have around who they need to influence and what they care about, and then willing to, as a pass-through, fund those things in order to create the influence that he needs for the things that he cares about. And I suspect that it's that kind of horse trading, which is, I think it's pretty typical in U.S. politics. The question, though, is what will happen if FTX has to really talk about everything that's actually happening in crypto. I'm sure that FTX could do a lot to help understand a lot of this off-chain activity, some of the, especially the stuff that's really in the gray, especially the stuff that's going to come to light over the next few years. You have to understand, guys, we've torched $2 trillion, and it's not of institutional capital. This is overwhelmingly retail capital.
All of this is going to inspire a lot of district attorneys and DOJ activity. The discovery is going to be bonkers, and it's all going to be regulated to the point in which it kills a lot of the opportunity. I think this is going to become the most regulated space we've ever seen.
I mean, if the goal here was to curry favor, then I think Sam must think there's not going to be a red wave in November, because I don't think Republican politicians are going to look very favorably on a guy who's using his money to raise taxes in a state he doesn't even live in.
All right.